Hey everyone, welcome back to Mighty Nighty Games. Picking up today with the next episode of Archaon Beginner's Guide. We've done a lot of sort of explaining mechanics and stuff in the last few videos, so today I just want to try and get into some more gameplay and actually just sort of push through this campaign a little bit. So I don't think there's anything we need to do at the end of this campaign. No, that's... actually, yeah, yeah, we got some money, I'll upgrade that, get some more Exalted Heroes. Does that give Exalted Hero cap? No, it doesn't give any more than that. Okay. So I'll get some Chaos Sorcerers happening as well. And put a little bit more growth in. I don't have any armies in that region, nor will I be recruiting any up there anytime soon. So I reckon that's fine. Let's check where we're at with Arbol. Okay, we've got military access and a non-aggression pact. Cool. So the idea is, and he's already pretty close to it, the idea is that I want to try and vassalize him. So one way I can do that is by offering to join his war against Boris. And as you can see, that already took it from 45 down to 27, so that's getting him close. So probably what I need to do is just wait a couple of turns until he's a little bit more desperate. And then he should probably go for that without me having to give him any territory. I'm not going to bother turning any of this on yet. I want to wait until I get... I think it's in 4 turns away, I think. Yeah. Once we got that, we'll turn on the Nurgle one that gives a ton of growth after every battle that you win. That's a really good way of growing your settlements up really fast as Chaos. And it takes a little while to work towards it because you've got to unlock the gifts of Nurgle. And obviously you've got to have the souls to pay for it. Hope everyone's doing well. Heading into the new year of January, gearing back up for work and stuff. I've got a couple more weeks off, so I'll be doing some more videos. Trying to, yeah, sort of, 3 a week probably. End turn, hurry up, hurry up. Can probably actually turn my vassals off, really. No, I won't, just in case I need to keep an eye on what they're doing. Alright, so, first things first, we want to finish putting down... Oh, geez, he's a bit damaged, isn't he? Need to finish putting down the Chaos Dwarves. Can I make it to that settlement this turn? No, I can't. Alright, so, here's how we're going to do this, then. Kolek's going to come and take this settlement here. But I'm just going to put him in circle for now. So when your army's encircling a city like that, you can put heroes and stuff into it. You can change equipment, you can level characters up. You can even recruit stuff for some races. So like I could grab these out of the... Ooh. Put me a little bit into the negatives, but having that would be really helpful in that army. Let me get that. Alright, so Grog is going to go this way with Archaon. So the idea will be that Archaon will sack the city up here, Carrick Flag, and then Grog will take it, which will let Archaon then move on with the rest of his movement range for that turn without having to stop and take the settlement. Let's roll that for time. I've really got to stop rolling stuff like that, though, because these are the sorts of battles that you're like, yeah, it's fine to roll it, but then you take, like, a few more casualties than you need, as you see there, and then you don't replenish them, and then you do it again, and then, yeah, just onwards and onwards and goes, so I've got no way of replenishing that now. And I want to use that city to vassalize the Chaos Dwarves. That's okay, he'll just have to stay there and just stay a little bit damaged. I won't even bother putting the talent points in this turn, I'll just spin on. I'll do the talent points for the next battle. Yeah, we've got Paths of Glory, great. I'll put money in that one, and that's all we can afford. Spin on. Yeah, so I just want to try and get this campaign actually moving, because, yeah, I've done, like, what, 3 hour-long videos so far, and we're only at turn, like, 20-something, which, yeah, is generally, I mean, yeah, generally I like my campaigns to go a little bit faster than that, depending on who I'm playing. Something like Skaven or Vampire counts, you really are better off, like, taking a slow start and building up a lot of steam, and then going for your enemies. Whereas someone like Chaos, or yeah, Khorne, another Chaos faction, they can do it as well. They do quite well at just sort of going fast and keeping the momentum up before enemies can recover and stuff. Military access with them. What else can I screw out of them, maybe? They're almost willing to vassalize. I'll give them a trade agreement, and I'll give them military access so that I can go through their territory without annoying them. And I'll keep an eye on them to try and vassalize them as well. Alright, Astrogoth Ironhand has respawned over there. Now, did Archaon get Astrogoths? Yes, he did. Astragon. Cool. So, Kolek doesn't actually need it because he's not a spellcaster. But that's fine. He can just take that out anyway. But for now, I'll put Harry the Hammer's talent point in. What do I want for him? Ward saves, pretty good. What's it? Passive ability, Chaos Armor. Yeah, it's pretty good. Take the ward save. He's a tanky guy. May as well double down on that and make him even tankier. That troll only needed one more level up before it can become a Bile Troll, which is good. Okay, so he may not have the movement range to double back on that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to roll out with Archaon, and I will... Ooh, actually, no. Here's what I'll do. I'll sack it with that guy. And I actually can just come along and vassalize that tribe right now. I'll take him out of encamp stance and just move him in. Occupy and vassalize. Cool. Get another vassal out of that. And how many settlements do the Chaos Dwarves have left? 3. So where's their third settlement, I wonder? Let's see, 1 and 2. Wonder where the third settlement is. That's alright, we can figure it out in a bit. I didn't miss one down here, did I? Nope. Okay, well, I don't know where the hell the third settlement is. That's alright, we'll find it later. Okay, so let's just make sure we get the Chaos Dwarves dealt with, and then we can use the Goromandi tribe. Goromandi tribe? How do you pronounce that? Goromandi. Yeah, Goromandi tribe. Goromadni. We can use Yellow Norscan tribe here to guard our western flank, and then we will help Arbol deal with Boris Ursus, because if Boris finishes off Arbol, the next thing he's going to do is come and attack our stuff. Generally speaking, in the Archaon campaign, Boris Ursus is usually a much bigger deal than he's been in this campaign. Like, I would have expected to have had to have doubled back and dealt with him already. But for whatever reason, he's just decided to not be a pain. So, yeah, I don't know. Alright, looks like I'm going to have to do this one manually, just to avoid taking stupid casualties. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give Kolek some of the equipment that Archaon's currently got, like so. And then I'll put these heroes' talents in for what they're worth. And I will also boogie on down here where those buildings have finished, and I can scoop a Chaos Sorcerer. Now, Laws of Magic is something I haven't really talked about yet, so I'll just do a quick rundown here. The Laws of Magic have different strengths, and they're largely going to be up to your personal playstyle as to what you like. So I really like the Law of Death, because I like having spells that can deal with single target, like single models, and the Spirit Leech is very, very good for that. Once upon a time, I would have said Law of Fire is your best bet for like crowd control and dealing like massive casualties to huge blobs of infantry, and that, like, it still is good for that. But I've actually come to prefer for myself the Law of Shadows. I like the spell roster of the Law of Shadows better than I like the Law of Fire. But that's just me. That's just a personal thing again. I really like Melkioth's Mystifying Miasma, the first spell in the Shadow Tree. A Shadow Wizard with that can do, like, so much damage, it's not even funny. Whereas a Fire Wizard running around with just Fireball, which is the first spell in the Law of Fire tree, like, a wizard running around just using Fireball is never going to do, like, a hell of a lot of damage. A wizard running around with Melkioth's Mystifying Miasma can do a crap load of damage, especially to, there's a lot of spells that do, like, mad damage to cavalry, and even if they do mad damage to cavalry, it's hard to get cavalry to actually, like, stand still and just tank the damage, because they're always, like, running around and stuff. Melkioth's is a targeted spell, so you click on it, and then you click on the target that you want it to affect, and it, like, casts a spell actually on them that drains their health, similar to the Spirit Leech, but whereas Spirit Leech only works for one character, Melkioth's is effective on units that are 25 models and above. So for, like, cavalry units and stuff, it's actually really, really helpful. Alright, so I'm just going to do this one because I don't want to take stupid casualties. Well, I mean, we will take some casualties. I'm not going to micro this to the point where, like, it's a perfect battle, but I just want to avoid getting anything killed, basically. And it was going to get, like, 3 units of trolls wiped out, which is just ridiculous. So I'm just going to do this on forest mode. I don't think... Actually, if we just dogpile Astrogoth, that's probably a really good way of just... Yeah. Because Kolek's regenerating, which is nice. So we use Kolek to try and take this. Whoop. Yeah, he's not going to like getting shot like that. That's not going to be good at all. Okay, no, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. No, that's not going to work at all. Alright, alright, alright. Fine, we'll do this the hard way. Do it the hard way, then. Fine. Okay, so, yeah. Not... That was my bad, really. I probably shouldn't have counted on just being able to break Chaos Dwarves that quickly. Okay. You do that to them. Where's Astrogoth gone? There he is. Okay, cool. So now, if we just get all this, if we get all this stuff now to just mug Astrogoth here while he's by himself, and get that champion out of there. He's got no business fighting Astrogoth solo yet. He's only like level 1 or 2 or something. Astrogoth's like 10. So we'll get the 2 Exalted Heroes just to chill out at the back here where they're not going to get murdered. And we'll just dogpile all that crap in on Astrogoth. And the only thing out here that's going to cause any real problem to Kolek are those bloody... Jesus! Yeah, those things, the blunderbusses. I'm just trying to keep him away from them a little bit. I'm just trying to smash some of these units out over here. So, I know Kolek's taking like a ton of damage that he doesn't need to, but I don't really care because he's got regeneration. Because I gave him the Crown of Everlasting Conquest. So, at the end of the battle, we'll just chill out for a bit and let him get his health back, and he'll be more or less back to where he was. God damn, Astrogoth's tough. I always forget how rough he is. He's like, he's a caster lord, so you're like, yeah. Well, I'm like, yeah, it shouldn't be that. It shouldn't be too bad. But yeah, I'm like, yeah, you know what? Archaon's also a caster lord. And look how he goes. Okay, that guy's running for his life. That's fair enough. If we can just get Astrogoth down, then the rest of these guys should get pretty discouraged and just go home. God, they've got this place locked up tighter than a bloody Fort Knox, mate. So all the bloody positions are done with barricades, so there's like nowhere I can sort of get Kolek in just to rough some stuff up from behind. That's alright, he can come in this way. So even though that was an absolute dog's breakfast, I guess like my point in showing you this stuff, I'm going to kill him just for the extra XP and the extra money and the extra I don't like Astrogoth. Even though that was like an absolute dog's breakfast of a fight, it's good to show you what you can sort of do sometime. Now, yeah, I could have spent half an hour micromanaging this down to the point that nobody took any damage, but you know what, who really cares? Like, I'm just trying to put a nail in the coffin for these guys, just trying to get Astrogoth either destroyed or vassalized, preferably vassalized, so I can get access to some, like, Chaos Dwarf units later on, but if not, it's not the end of the world if he just gets wiped out. So yeah, rough as guts on that one, but still better than what the AI was giving us, which was, like, 3 units of trolls wiped out, which would be... yeah, just excessive. I don't know how the order all figures stuff like that out. It's like, we're going to send in your units one at a time. And, yeah, they're going to get shot to pieces. It's like, well, yeah, that makes sense, but why would you do that? Okay, so I think... I'm just going to occupy it for now. I'll probably end up giving that away to someone, but just so that he's got a nice little spot to sit and heal. And if I put one of... yep, we can afford that. That'll up his replenishment rate, so he'll heal a bit quicker. I'll do the talent points next turn. That's fine. Alright, what did I just say? And I don't need to... Chimera Plateau. Do I want some more hero cap? Or do I just want some more money? More income, rather. Maybe income. I'll put the heroes in later. So every one of these buildings that you put in, every one of those gives you +1 cap for Chaos Sorcerers, and every one of those gives you cap for Exalted Heroes. Now, for a lot of races, by the time you've upgraded that to like tier 4 or 5, that would give you +2 cap, or +3 cap for that particular hero. Not so with Chaos. So if all you're looking to do is raise your hero cap, then you only have to build the first tier of those buildings at tier 2. So the blue one for the sorcerers and the red one for the exalted heroes. And you can just build them at tier 2, and that increases your cap by 1, and you can ignore it after that, if all you're after is hero cap. Which is nice, because some races, you know, you've got to build up to like tier 4, tier 5. to start getting higher hero caps. Although less so now, actually. They've done quite a lot of reworking on that, which is good, because the game used to be really wonky in that respect. Some factions like Chaos and Skaven would have more heroes than they knew what to do with. Yeah, I'll take a trade agreement. Would have more heroes than they knew what to do with right from the get-go. And other races would be like starved of heroes until they could get cities up to like tier 3, tier 4. Like dwarves used to be really bad for it. Incredibly powerful heroes, but you had to wait till like your city got to tier 4 or whatever to be able to actually get any of them. And they've reworked a lot of that, which is really nice, giving a lot more balance to the factions. Oh, cool. Oh, that's nice. They took that for me. Alright, so now what we got to do is find the Chaos Dwarves' last settlement. So they should only be down to one settlement now, and there's a lot of the world that we can't see. So the way that we're going to find their settlement is by doing this. We're going to go into diplomacy, and we're going to find out where they are, and we're going to double click them. And it's going to zoom to where their capital is. All the way down there. Yeah, I'm not going down there. Yet. Okay, so the Chaos Dwarves being vassalized is going to have to take a little bit of a back seat for a little while, because I'm not trekking all the way down there to deal with that, while Arbol is still undefended against... Whoa, got him down to ones. How many settlements has Arbol got left? 2. Ooh, okay. That's getting a bit rough. That is getting a bit rough. Alright, we're going to need to bail him out. Because I really don't want Arbol getting destroyed and having Boris Ursus taking over this part of the world. That would not be good for us. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to get him out of hot water. And we're going to need to do that pretty damn quick. And we've got a really limited budget. So this is the point where the Chaos campaign can be a little bit touch and go. Now, if you're playing on a easier difficulty mode, your armies will be costing you a whole lot less. Your troops will be cheaper. And you will have gotten more experience for your units and your characters up to this point. So you'll be probably in a better state financially than I am at the moment. But that's okay. I'm confident that this is still very, very handleable. I tend to spend a lot of my early game, like if I'm really pushing, then I tend to, no, I don't do that. If I'm really pushing in my Chaos campaigns, I generally spend quite a lot of the campaign with negative income. Like I'll have heaps of treasury, but I won't have much in the way of income. And that's fine. You can run a negative economy in this game as long as you're making enough money to keep yourself topped up. There's no real problem. Like if you're losing 2,000 gold a turn, like that's not good. But if you're earning like 8,000 a turn from battles, then who cares? You're still 6k up every turn. So it took me a long while. I used to be terrified when I first started playing this game of being in a negative economy. Like, oh no, that's not something I should ever do. No, very bad, very bad. But yeah, as it turns out, it's actually not that big of a deal at all. Okay, so I'm just going to see if I can screw any money out of anyone at the moment. Any trade agreements I can pick up. Yep, World Walkers, take that. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm just trying to increase our diplomatic standing with a few other factions around the way, just so that we don't get anyone, we don't have anyone like get uppity and declare war on us just out of nowhere, because we've only got the one enemy now. And he's down to like one city and no armies. So as far as the AI is concerned, we're like functionally not really in a war at the moment, and it will have a sad about that and try and get us into a war. So I'm just going to see if he'll go for this yet. Yes, he will. All right, we're going to do that. Are we going to do that? No, we're going to do that. No, we're going to do it top of next turn. Top of next turn. I don't want to declare war on Boris now because I don't know exactly where he is. He could just be... Now, that's one thing I forgot to tell you the other day when I showed you that you can tell... So there's a flag in the city. There's no army in the city. Right? So like that one's got an army in it. That one's got an army in it. That one doesn't. That one doesn't. What it doesn't represent, though, is... Like, okay, so that shows you that there's no army in the city, but there could be an army standing just outside the city. There could be 10 armies standing just outside the city, and you'd have no indication of that whatsoever. So the reason I'm not going to do the accept him as a vassal and declare war on Boris this turn is because those 10 armies could then come over here and smash me. Now, they're obviously not going to have 10 armies on turn 26, but the point is I don't know what they've got there. And one of those lords is in march stance, and that could end really, really badly. So not going to use that declaration of war yet. He's in... Oh, god damn. Missed my chance. I should have gone for it. Bugger. That's alright. There's other ways we can... Nah, there's still other stuff we can do for Arbol. So what we'll try and do now, instead of that then, is we'll try and get Tribe Slaughter, that city that's just up there. We'll try and get that. Or, because I want Karak Dumb, preferably, because it's a Dark Fortress site. Because that's the other problem with vassalizing Arbol when he's still got Karak Dumb, is that you then deny yourself the ability to take that city. So maybe, I don't know, maybe this has worked out better. So what we'll try and do is we'll try and get a hold of a couple of cities up here that we don't want, and we'll just sell them over to Arbol, and I reckon he'll probably accept vassalization in exchange for a city. Especially if it was one of his core territories that he started the game with and has since lost. The AI tend to value those sorts of territories very, very highly. Damn, I should have taken that vassalization at the end of that turn. Oh, well, that's alright. So, in, like, if this was you playing... Oh, and they've wounded Harry the Hammer. How'd they do that? Oh, okay, that guy did it. Pain in the bum. If this was your game, and you're like, oh, damn, I forgot to do that thing at the end of last turn, oh, and my hero's been wounded, you could very easily just go bang, right, and just reload to the end of last turn. So as you can see, when the save file thing's working properly and the servers aren't broken, it gives you a backlog. Now, while I'm on the case, you'll notice here that for mine, I don't keep a very big backlog. So what I do is every 5 or 10 turns, I just come along and shift-click and just delete them like that. Now, the reason I do that is because I've noticed that the cloud does have a limit to how many things it can keep in there at a time, obviously. But what'll happen is that rather than deleting older save states to update it with newer save states, it just stops making the save states. And so what you end up with is you go, oh, I need to reload to the end of last turn, and you go there, and the last end turn save you had was 10 turns ago because the cloud's gotten full and the game didn't tell you that, and it has stopped making end of turn saves, and it's just been making one continuously overwritten one. Yeah, so not a bad idea. Once you're like sure that you're not going to need to go back to it, so say like, I don't know, once you're confident with the game, I sort of do it every like 5-10 turns. But, you know, you could do it every 10-15 turns, but whatever does it for you. So, how do I want to do this? Do we want to do this the risky way or the safe way? Now that I'm at war with Boris... No, that's not you, that's the wrong guy. Now that I'm at war with Boris, I don't suppose Arbol would just take the vassalization. No, he wouldn't. Yeah, figures. That's okay, so we're going to just sell him some territory. So what we're going to do... That's only got a garrison of 10. Gonna put Kolek in camp stance, so he still recruits, because he can't make that city this turn anyway. No, he can't. So I'm gonna get another unit of Dragon Ogres. I'm gonna get another unit of Aspiring Champions, because I really like them. I'm gonna move Kolek Sun Eater toward Karak Dum, so he's still healing. Grog's gonna follow him along. And I'm actually going to... No, I'll just keep Archaon there so he's got a good chance to retreat if he needs it. So ideally next turn, these two will snap that for us. He'll snap that, then we'll sell that to Arbol and get him as a vassal in return. Ooh, Maddening Gifts is done. Cool. Alright, so that's going to have dropped the authorities, as you can see there, to Tzeentch Authority -1. So every single army of mine is now going to have a lower amount of Tzeentch Authority. But I can counteract that by just coming back over here and doing that one. That one. Now, where's the one that gives regen to Aspiring Champions? Okay, that's all that at the end there. That's a bit too far for now. So what I'll do for now is I'll grab the Arcane Branding Iron to cancel out the Rusted Branding Iron, and that will also give... Oh, nope. Scratch that. I'll do that second. For a start, I'm going to get that one, the extra movement range. Then I'll get that to cancel out that negative to Tzeentch Authority, and also to give our Aspiring Champion units a magical barrier. As you can see, I really like Aspiring Champions. I think they're very cool units. I like them in the lore. I just like the way they look. I think they're cool. I wish they were a bit faster, but for an early game unit, they are bloody tough as nails. Where's my Nurgle Branding Iron? There it is. So he can go up now to a unit of Bile Trolls. He can go up to a unit of Chaos Knights. Next level. Those guys... Oh, I need Demon Mounts as well. Where's that? Demon Mounts. There it is. Alright, so we'll go... Actually, so okay, change of plan again. I'll go that one, then that one. Because I want to be able to get the Rot Knights as soon as I possibly can. These guys can be upgraded to... Yep, they can go up to Chaos Warriors. I'll keep them as Halberds for now, because we don't really have a lot of other anti-large stuff in the army. No, I don't need to replace them with a unit of Nurgle Spawn. Thank you very much. I might grab another unit next turn just to pad out the space that Harry the Hammer is missing, but we'll see how we go. Okay, so this is the one I want. Growth per region, plus 75 after winning a battle, all provinces. So every single time one of our characters wins a fight now, every single one of our regions will get 75 growth, right? Which is just disgustingly huge. Like that, it's amazing. The other really good gift of Nurgle is the one next to it. which I can't show you now because I'd have to cancel that one. Oh, no, I can show it to you. Cool. This one here enables replenishment in foreign territory, deadly transmission. That's a really good one as well. So here, for example, if I turn that one on, Archaon would now be replenishing. So generally what I do is I use... where do you think you're going, Pork Pouch? Come back here. I'm fighting for your territory. Yeah, so there's Boris. So, yeah, look, it's not going to be convenient to get down there and vassalize them right now. So I'm just going to... Yeah, okay, 10 grand. Yep, I'll take that as a peace treaty. Just because it's not going to be convenient to get down there and vassalize them. I wasn't counting them on having gotten that far south yet. Like, I'd have to go all the way through that vampire faction and stuff to get to them, and it's not that big of a deal to vassalize Astrogoth. I got his defeat trait on Archaon, which was what I was really after. And, you know, the opportunity may still pop up to vassalize him. But if not, as I said, no big deal. We've got him out of our face. We've got the territory that we've wanted off him. And it was really just a means to an end to be able to get around here and deal with Boris from the south. I find that dealing Boris with this from the south is better because it kind of draws him away from your cities. Like, it draws him away from your capital by, like, flooding into him from the south, because he's usually dealing with Arbol by then. And then once we've weakened him a little bit, hopefully Daniel the Demon Prince will get stuck into him from the west as well. Because as I said, the AI are absolute cowards. They won't fight if they don't know that they can win. Okay, so Kolek and Grog will not be able to take that army on by themselves, not by a long shot. So, I really don't want to miss my chance to vassalize Arbol, nor do I want him to be wiped out. I think he's down to, yeah, he's down to 2 cities now. Alright, let me just have a think about how I'm going to do this. Yeah, okay. Alright. Alright. Not the most efficient way that this is not the way I wanted to do this, but it will work. I think. I hope. It's got a better chance of working than the other way of doing it anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just check his movement range. Okay, so he can't make Fort Dwarslav next turn, which is good for us. So we're going to back Kolek and Grog off for now. Yeah, that's good. He can't make Tribe Slaughter next turn unless he's in March stance, which would... I don't think he'll do that. Maybe, but I don't think so. Yeah, there's nothing I desperately need there. It's not going to be a difficult fight. Oh, crud! Many armies. Alright, let me just see what their movement range is like. Because the movement range through here is usually pretty crappy. Yeah, I think we'll be okay. Alright, so, here's what we're going to do. We are going to go... Bang. I'm going to fight this one manually, just because I'm not entirely sure what the next turn is going to look like, and I want to be in as good a shape as we possibly can, but this will be a... Yeah, this will be a quick one. Oh, god damn it. It's a bloody siege. Okay, so not as quick as I'd hoped, but still, it shouldn't be too hard. Archaon and the Exalted Hero can probably deal with most of this themselves. So what we'll try and do is we will use Archaon and the Exalted Hero to blob them up, and we'll use the infantry here as a great big, ooh, look at me. And then all this fast stuff will chill back here. Bile Trolls will go in with the infantry like that. Now these guys do not have any casters, nor do they have any artillery, so we're okay to blob up like this. If they had like little groms and stuff, this would be a very bad way of deploying. And then immediately, these guys are going to book it over this way. Alright. So, most of Kivslev's roster, if you haven't fought them before, most of them are hybrid units. And they do this very annoying thing where when they get to low leadership, they turn unbreakable for a little while. So, they're very, very hard to shift, Kislev, and all their units are hybridized. Well, nearly all their units are hybridized. So, nearly all of them have at least some measure of shooting capability. It makes them a very, very dangerous foe for enemies that don't deal well with being shot at, like Chaos, for example. Now, we're lucky here in that they've only got their like sort of basic shooting and stuff like that. They've only got Kossars and stuff like that. If they had things like Streltsy, that would be a lot tougher. They'd think Ice Guard, that'd be a lot tougher. Or if they had some of their non-hybridized elite melee units like Zargard, that would also be quite difficult. But as it stands, the just like basic Kislev troops aren't really going to pose too much of a problem for us, I don't think. Alright. So they're going to go and start capping the points over there. Now, we're only really capping those points just to distract and annoy, and just pull them away from this main body of the fight here. Alright, they all going, nearly? So you can see, even though they're flashed and ready to run, their leadership bars, like, at max and not moving. So yeah, they do this, like, unbreakable thing before they run away. So they're tough to shift, Kislev. Or can be tough to shift, I should say. There we go. Alright, so infantry is going up this way. Trolls are going that way. Heroes going that way. And Archaon's going to punch through and start to deal with some of these clowns. Oh good, the cavalry are following him. That's nice. Which means the trolls will also follow him. Yeah, that was a good spell. Alright, well the trolls have the spell took care of that unit. So we'll send the trolls that way. Yeah, unbreakable again. Good on yous. Alright, you guys go in there and cap that. And we'll get the knights to come this way. Which reminds me, take everything off guard mode. This is definitely the kind of fight where I want things pursuing things. Generally a pretty good rule when you're fighting stuff that might skirmish you, to have guard mode turned off. Because if you have guard mode turned on and something with a gun runs away from one of your units, they can just run like 2 feet out of melee range and then turn around and start shooting again, and your units will stand there like absolute spoons and just get shot in the face. Yeah, using knights in cities is not that much fun sometimes, because they're just like, traffic jam. Meep! Run, Hellstriders! That was cool. Good Hellstriders. Let's see if I can get you up here and capture that. Now, because this is a minor city, a minor settlement rather, there's no linked control point to the central control point, so we don't have to, like, faff around and take a special position just for the honor of being able to then take that position. We can just take that position. Cool. They've done a magnificent job there. They're taking down the towers, so what we'll do is we'll run Archaon and Ograx. That's his name, isn't it? Ograx, yeah. Can't remember what I had for breakfast this morning, but I can remember the name of that random exalted hero. Now, usually cycle charging with knights would be good, but when they're against one unit like that, you can just sort of dogpile and wait for their leadership to break. Assuming they're not unbreakable, of course. Let's see if we can get... No, not any magic left. They're armoured Cossars, what are they? Ah, now we do have no magic left. Haha, that was a roller coaster. Alright, they're out of there. Get the trolls over here. Recharge them. Yep, that's doing a pretty good job of messing them up. That unit's gone. They're capturing that. Yep, I think we're good here. Bung it on fast mode until the battle finishes up. Yep, there we go. Cool. I think we took probably half a dozen losses off that maybe. 30, whatever. So yeah, much better than the order roll would have given us. So when you've got an army that's 1,000 units or more stronger, or close on 1,000, if you're only losing like double digits on a battle, that's a pretty good result, I think. Characters. I forgot to use the heal on Ograx. It's like the thing I spec'd him for, and I always forget to use it. Ah well. I also forgot to give Archaon back his cool equipment that I pinched off him to give to Kolek. So I should definitely do that. Now, what we're going to do here, because I don't know that we're going to have the movement ranged for anything particularly specky, so we're just going to go Occupy, and then we're going to... Oh, nice, Helmet Rescue. I will not use that. The reason I won't use it is because of that thing there at the bottom. Second from the top, sorry. Curse of Drake's got 1% chance for this character to die upon ending turn. Now, if the character is a legendary character, like Archaon, they won't die. They will instead get wounded. But that's when the other bit of that kicks in. which is wound recovery time plus 10 turns. So he'd be wounded for 15 turns. And yeah, I'm just not willing to risk that right at this point in the game. Maybe later. But yeah, I don't really think Archaon needs to be unbreakable, which is what that gives him. He doesn't need the armor. He doesn't need the charge defense because he's usually the one charging, and there's not really a lot of stuff that we're fighting that has contact effects. So yeah, good bit of armor, just not really amazing for Archaon right now. Oh damn, he doesn't have anything I can. Oh, that's so annoying. Where's your? Oh, yes it did. Yes it did. Okay, cool. I thought he didn't have anything contiguous with that, and I was like, oh, that's not going to work because then I can't sell him anything. Oh, he won't go for it. What else could I do? 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 Well, we're going to end up at war with Kislev anyway, with the Ice Court anyway. That's an absolute inevitability. So what if I joined your war against the Ice Court? You still wouldn't go for it. Damn. Really missed my opportunity. I could bribe him. 6.5k though. That's a lot. Yeah, I don't really want to do that. Alright, that's okay. That's okay. We'll still get him. You mark my words. But what we'll do in the meantime is we will just give him Tribe Slaughter in exchange for some money. And then if the Kislevites attack that again next turn, then they can lose it again. Arbol can lose the city again, which means we can take it again and sell it back to him again. And we can get it done that way. Yep, rather have it than have it not need it than need it not have it. Yep, that'll do. Get a bit of that action happening. Do I have any other goodies that we could equip to anyone? Yeah, you can take a Sword of Battle, why not? That's a good grey item. Plus 6 attacks, plus 6 melee defense. That's pretty damn good for a grey. Like, there's other ones that give more, but yeah, for a grey item, it's pretty damn good. Like Fencer's Blades, they're really good. They're a green item, they give 10 of each. But yeah, for a grey, giving 6, nothing to be sneezed at. Now, we're not really doing any recruitment back here, so like I don't really need to be worrying about buffing up the recruitment buildings yet. What I'm mainly concerned about now is just being able to pay for everyone and everything. So I'm just put money and growth and stuff, and that will do. Do we have any extra heroes that we can recruit? Nope, full of heroes. Okay, well, let's see how that goes. Nope, can't do anything else with you. You can't reach them. So I reckon what's going to happen here is that these two will probably attack Archaon with him marching over to reinforce. In which case, we can hopefully just back off. So now you do want a defensive alliance. No, go away. You had your chance. Well, no, actually, I don't want to give him I don't want to give him the defensive alliance because if he doesn't feel as threatened and as alone, he's much less likely to willingly take a vassalization. Oh, you're going to go for it, are you? Yeah, alright, what can we do about that? Oh, they've got Ulrika Magdova. Okay, so she's a legendary hero. She'll be potentially difficult to deal with. It depends on what level she is. What's our map looking like? And we've got the settlement garrison as well, but I can also just fall back from this, and I feel like the settlement garrison's actually going to be more of a hindrance than a help because of how damaged they are. So I'm actually just going to pull back from that one. And hopefully they'll chase after me. Yep, cool. And that's actually... well, that's actually better. Because now the weaker army's leading, and the stronger army is supporting on march stance. So we've got 2 minutes and 24 seconds. Now that's... would normally be plenty of time with an army like this to get an enemy off the field, but with Kislev's tendency to do the unbreakable thing, that's... yeah, it's not going to be good. That is not going to be good. That's alright. Yeah, this is doable. You're going to Streltsy. You're going to need to make sure that doesn't get a good line on any of our units that are vulnerable to being shot at. That wouldn't be very good. Alright, where's our deployment zone? Okay, so we can deploy some stuff at the back, which is really good. I'll put all that there. I'll put Ograx there as well. Yep, they're all hidden. Good, good. Gonna put Archaon. We front and center. Yep, that'll do. And then we'll put the infantry over here in the woods, along with the trolls. Does that look about right? Yeah, it looks about right. take him off, take everything else off guard mode, and I'll put him on the skirmish. So I will probably, otherwise, I'll probably forget about the Marauder Axeman there, and he'll end up getting shot to pieces. Alright. So the plan is, as per normal, I'm going to try and make a big blob and just like punish these guys with magic as much as possible. And then when they're in disarray, we'll send the knights in on them. And then while they're moving around like that, bring the infantry over. Oh, Ogrex is already in combat with the Kossovite dervishes. Alright, let's get in there and support. No, actually, let's go and smash that. Yeah, actually, no, that's too much. That's too much. That way. Do it that way. Alright, and there's Spirit Leech happening. Start knocking that Lord down. Oh, we got on these guys. Minute 29. Yeah, okay. So we don't have as much time as I would like to deal with these guys, but it should still be enough, I think. I hope. Yeah, that Lord's nearly dead. The Archaon's just tearing him to pieces. Go, man. Yeah, so one of Archaon's greatest strengths, apart from, as you've seen, his ability to kill, you know, heaps of troops using magic and just generally being a badass. The other thing he's really good at is being a duelist, which is, you know, fighting other enemy characters in a one-on-one combat. And, yeah, just absolutely demolishing them for very little damage in return. Not all... Like, there are some characters that are capable of killing even more troops than Archaon. So I'll use Lord Croak of the Lizardmen as an example. Croak can literally kill tens of thousands of troops in a game. If they're there to be killed, he can kill them. He doesn't care what they are like. Doesn't matter if they're bloody... It doesn't matter if they're the lowest of the lowest Skaven or the most elite of the elite High Elves or Dwarves. Croak will blow them away in their thousands without even breaking a froggy sweat. He's disgusting. He's one of my favourite characters in the lore. He's the last of the first... Yep, I said that right this time. He's the last of the first Slann Mage Priests. So the Lizards, like, the Lizardmen's most sacred and venerable caste of warrior priest, or not warrior priest, but priests, the Slann. And he is the last surviving member of the first spawning. And surviving member is even... being a little bit kind, because he's actually technically dead and mummified, but like he's so powerful that he's so magically powerful that doesn't stop him. Like, he's still a force in the world. He's an undead frog wizard of absolutely absurd killing power, but he is a lousy duelist. He is not a melee character whatsoever. Like, he could not duel his way out of a wet paper bag. That frog. Love him to bits, but a duelist he ain't. Vlad von Carstein, one of my favourite characters in the lore. He's probably one of the better duelists in the game. There's very few things that Vlad will not walk out on top of from being in a one-on-one fight, just because he's got that much bloody regen. And he's got so much... melee attack and melee defense. He's really like... Archaon would give him a tough time, definitely. Archaon would definitely give him a rough time. I think in a duel between Archaon and... like, all things being equal, like, they both have all their legendary equipment and all that sort of stuff. I think in a duel between Archaon and Vlad, it would really come down to a bit of RNG. Whichever one got the happiest numbers first would probably win. But if they were both equal level, both had all their talent points, both had all their epic gear, didn't have any, like, you know, obviously if one of them's packing bloody, you know, the Nemesis Crown and the Sword of Cain and has like a 90% ward save and stuff, like, yeah, all that stuff, obviously, can have a huge impact on the game. So this is the problem with this army that I have currently got, and the army that I'm currently facing. So you've seen how powerful this army is. You've seen how strong it usually, like, just how quickly it just sweeps everything off the battlefield. But there's always going to be a counter to your stuff in the game. So these war sleds are giving me a hell of a hard time in this game. They're high-powered missile shooting, they're mobile missile shooting, and they're light war sleds. So they're fast enough that most of my heavy cavalry can't catch them. And I've only got 1 unit of Hellstriders, and 1 unit of Hellstriders is not going to come out on top of a fight against like 6 War Sleds. So as you can see, there's light War Sleds over here. They're even giving the Zinchian Knights a run for their money, and they've been bloody tough as nails. Got the Chaos Knights fleeing. In fact, we still will win this battle. But yeah, Kislev are as tough an opponent as you're ever likely to face as Chaos. They've just got a lot of good counters for a lot of our strengths. Our heavy melee troops are countered by their excessive amounts of shooting. Our cavalry is countered by their mobile shooting units. They've got some really kick-ass magic. A lot of like crowd control stuff. They're faster than we are, and we can't rely on just obliterating their leadership as we can with so many other factions, because they've got the unbreakable thing that goes off. I can't remember what it's called. It's like Blood of the Land or something. And yeah, when that goes off, they all just refuse to move for a bit. So yeah, very, very, very difficult opponent to face as Chaos. Definitely one of the tougher ones. Like, yeah, Chaos Dwarves and Dwarves, like, they'll absolutely shoot you to pieces, but you can outrun them. And in the case of the Dwarves, you can out-magic them. Kislev, like, they can outrun you, they can outshoot you, some of their units can even outfight you. Obviously, you've seen their characters and stuff, like, compared to Archaon, they just curl up and die. But, you know, that's not to say that they don't have some really powerful melee characters. Like, they're, what are they called? The, like, warrior priest guys, patriarchs, I think they're called. Those guys, like, they'll give any of our Chaos characters are like heroes a run for their money. Non-legendary heroes, of course. Chaos legendary heroes are very, very powerful. Yeah, I wish I'd had Harry the Hammer for that battle. God, the Chaos Dwarves wounding him beforehand, that was a pain in the bum. Because, yeah, he would have been a great lynch point for all that to go around. But as it was, as you can see, pretty messy fight. But nothing of ours got killed, which it absolutely was going to if we auto-rolled it. It was going to get at least 2 units killed, and God knows how much damage inflicted on all the others. Whereas here, we've got some really badly damaged units for sure, but we can keep those units out of the next fight. And then that's fine. So yeah, I think that's pretty good. 228 losses for their over 1,600, over 1,700 losses. So that's probably more damage on that battle than we've taken in the rest of the campaign combined on Archaon's army. But that's okay. Sometimes you will just have really tough fights. And yeah, 2 Kislevite armies, we were outnumbered by a crap load. Better than 2 to 1. And as you can see from their roster, in that first army that we just fought, everything but 2 units had a shooting... Well, everything but 3 units, so they didn't have a shooting weapon, and those 2 didn't have a shooting weapon. Everything else in there has shooting. Those 3 units, no shooting. Those cavalry units, no shooting, but everything else in that army is shooting. So yeah, that's about as tough an opponent as you're going to face as Archaon, especially early game. Kislev are tough. They sack Tribe Slaughter again. Chuckles. Alright, so they're going to back off a little bit. We've managed to get Arbol at least another settlement, so that inoculates him out. That inoculates him from being wiped out. Kislev have still got... I should stop calling them Kislev. I can't remember what... Boris has still got Karak Dum. I can't actually remember what their faction's called, eh? Because it's like... Katarin... Together they're all Kislev, but Katarin's the Ice Court. What's his face? Gestalten. He's the... Grand Orthodoxy or the Great Orthodoxy? I think these guys are the Urson Revivalists or something like that. Boris Ursus's faction. No, I don't really want to be too friendly with these guys, because I may look to vassalize them at some point. I just wanted the money out of them for the trade agreement for now. And for them to be kindly enough disposed to us to not declare war. Mind you, in this game, not like a trade agreement will stop things declaring war. They will just straight up declare war on you over the top of like peace treaties and trade agreements and whatever else if they think they can get away with it. They are without honour and without scruple. Cool. Yep. That's all good. Now, what was that? The Magister. Souls gained from battles, 10%. Lord's Army. Cool. Let me just give that to Archaon. Oh, he's already got one. Let me just give that to Colexanator. Yeah, I don't really want the Elden Drasker on him either, to be honest, right now. Okay, because knowing my luck, it'll be like the 2% chance to get wounded, and it'll get wounded like the first time I put it on, and that will be annoying. Okay. So, this is perplexing. This is a tough army. Boris himself isn't going to be very difficult to deal with. He's level 19, he's already got 2 of his epic items. And the bear riders, they're going to be annoying as well. They're tough. So, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the path less honourable. So the first thing we need to do, and I know I said I wasn't going to do this, but I'm going to do it now, is I'm going to take a defensive alliance with Arbol, so that I replenish in his territory. So this area here in Tribe Slaughter now, Archaon will now heal in, rather than just standing there not healing. So what we'll do is we'll bring him over to... Just want to make sure I'm far enough away from these guys. Yeah, bring him over to here. We're going to get Kolak in ambush as well. No, you can't quite do it in ambush. Okay, that's okay. We'll bring Kolak out to here. Yep, that's good. And then we'll move Old Mate out to there as well. So all we're trying to do is buy a turn for Archaon's army to replenish. And hopefully to split Boris up a little bit from his forces, because these guys, hopefully they'll back off to their respective cities to heal, and hopefully Boris will sack this and then come after us. Or he might just ignore this completely because it's going to be worth stuff all. He might just come straight for us. So if the ambush goes... Oh, no, I don't want to... damn it. I meant to get Melchios or whatever. If he comes straight for us, great. If not, then that's okay. We can just buy some extra time there for Archaon to heal up. What do I want to take here? Yeah, I'll get Lightning Strike, actually, because if we can't split them up, being able to split them off and fight them one-on-one would also be really good. Alright, so we'll get Demon Mounts, because they're only like 3 levels off being able to turn into Rot Knights. So that'll be good. Yep, cool, that's all for that. I don't really see any harm in doing that, considering we've got plenty of money in the treasury. What do I want to do here? Yeah, right, let's just keep cranking money and cranking hero cap. So that's the other good thing about these buildings, is the not this one so much, but these ones here. They also give you favour from all buildings plus 30% in the local region, so it increases the income of other buildings in that area, as well as buffs your hero cap. So them's good buildings. I don't really want to build... Yeah, I think it's a bit premature to put a strong an outpost in one of Arvol's cities, because I don't know how long he's going to keep them for. Like, idiot, your territory's being attacked back at home, and he's over here bloody... Oh, he's got kids. Jesus, okay, yeah, good effort. Well done. Never mind. I take back everything I was about to say. Yep, no, good effort. Yep, cool, so that's pretty much exactly what we wanted. That's good. I've fallen back into Archaon's control zone. What is that going to do? Are you kidding me? He's going to get all of that killed. Yeah, no, that's definitely not going to happen. Thank you very much. I think that may... Oh yeah, the Urson Revivalist stuff, right? Oh, he's got another army. Jesus, okay. Yeah, right, so Boris has got a bit more teeth, a few more teeth than I expected. That's alright, we're getting there. And that plan worked out perfectly, so he's now come out further away from his cities. He's got one reinforcing army with him, but it's like weak as hell and it's in March stance, so whatever. And we've got Lightning Strike now, so double whatever. So yeah, we're going to put the smackdown on Boris, and then hopefully we can... What do you want, Grimgore? Non-aggression pact. I'm going to say yes to that for now, just because I have no interest in this territory down here whatsoever, and I really don't want him getting any funny ideas and coming after us. If he just ignores us for the whole game and keeps going that way and down south, then more the better. What do you want? Okay, this is what I'm talking about. Like, random faction that's, like, not even barely registering against us in the strength ranking, but because we've only got one enemy, the game's like, ah-ha-ha! We attack you. Oh my god, go! Go, Gorobmadni tribe! I respect you enough for this to try and pronounce your name properly. Gorobmadni. God, that's hard to say. Holy crap, you go, you magnificent bastards. Right, and because Boris fell back from that attack just there, you probably didn't see it because it was going on fast mode, but what happened was that, well, you might not have seen it because it was going on fast mode. What happened was that these two guys moved in to attack the reinforcing, to attack Boris. He backed off, and then the reinforcing army couldn't go anywhere, so they got killed. And now so it's Boris all by himself just standing here like a bloody lark on a fence. And, yeah, and he shouldn't be able to retreat from that because he already will have it. Him retreating from that first battle, because this is his end turn now, that should still count as him having retreated from a battle this same turn, and you can't retreat from a battle twice in one turn. So hopefully, we should just be able to catch him here. He shouldn't be able to run away, and assuming we win this, that should actually wipe him out. So that would be amazing. I'm just going to grab the Regiment of Renown. These guys. That's another extra anti-large unit in this army for tanking Boris and his bear riders. Might even be able to auto-roll this one. We'll see how we go. If it's going to get stuff wiped out, I'm not going to auto-roll it. But if it looks like pretty acceptable casualties, I'm not hugely opposed to it. Just because Boris is a pain in the bum. He's one of those armies, like, if I can auto-roll it, I'd much rather just auto-roll him. I hate fighting Boris on the battlefield. He's such a pain in my ass. However, those are definitely not acceptable casualties in any way, shape, or form. Are they? No, they're not. They're not acceptable casualties. Alright, so we'll fight this one manually. But first, I'm just going to pause the recording and grab myself a cup of coffee, because I'm going to need it for this. Alright, let's get into this. So, I was having a think while the kettle was boiling, and I reckon the way to do this is going to be to take a hard defensive position. Now, I'm thinking in those woods right at the back corner. I hadn't thought about that until I just saw them, but the woods up in that top left corner there of the map, that seems like a bit of a no-brainer. So, the idea is we want to try and get them into as much of a blob as we can. A, that will impede their shooting. B, will be in the trees. C, it makes them a good target for our magical spells and abilities from Archaon. And I think the biggest kicker is that it's going to affect it's going to affect the dangerous troops on his side worse than it's going to affect the troops on our side that we're going to use to deal with those dangerous troops. So his most dangerous units in that army are himself, Boris Ursus, and his bear riders. Those bear riders will absolutely fucking mince our cavalry. Our cavalry just does not stand a chance against them. Bear riders are anti-large specifically, and they're about the most elite melee fighting, non-legendary character melee unit that they have on their roster. Bear riders you should be afraid of. I am terrified of those things. I hate them. My preferred tactic for dealing with bear riders is to shoot them dead before they get anywhere near my lines. However, that is not an option that I have as Chaos. And by the way, by this stage of the campaign, by the time I was up against Kislev, I would have ditched that hell cannon that I lost a few battles ago. I would have ditched that hell cannon well and truly by now. All it would have done against Kislev is slow us down and give us something that can't hide and something that we have to protect. So I would have absolutely ditched that by now, regardless of anything else that was going on. So I moved one of my troops over here just because I don't want one army to come on there and then have to take like 100 years to walk over here. But it actually doesn't seem to have made a difference. I must have that thing on one of those characters somewhere that you can move your reinforcements without increasing their time. Because usually, moving them like that would massively increase the time that they'd take to get on the battlefield. But for today, it has not. So what we're going to do here is we're going to get Kolek and Grog. I'm going to put the two melee heroes in a control group together, and they are just going to hide out in the middle of the massive infantry block. Because they are not powerful enough to be dealing with anything else like that yet. So getting everything in here. So, as I started to explain, Boris and the Bear Riders are the most dangerous units in the army. They're also all large, right? So that's why I recruited the Regiment of Renown Halberd unit of Khorne. I only got the Regiment of Renown one because it was just the fastest way of getting something else anti-large into the army, and I want something that can deal. So I've got 3 units of halberds now, so I've got 1 for each large unit. Alright, so 1 for Boris, 1 for each of the bear riders. And that was the plan. So, knowing what's anti-large, knowing what's anti-infantry, knowing what's armor-piercing, knowing what is good against what foe in what scenario is a huge thing to learn in this game. Now, I'm going to try and keep the knights pretty much out of this, because I don't want them getting killed. With the notable exception of the Swords of Chaos, because they're just a regiment of renown unit, and they've done their job already. They've made my early game a lot easier. If I need to sacrifice them in this battle to ensure a low casualty rate for the rest of the army, so be it. Now, Boris is not unbreakable. Good. So there'll be a little icon. I know exactly what I'm looking for. It's like a little grey... It looks like a plate or a shield. It's like a little grey icon that's like a completely filled-in circle. And that is the symbol for a unbreakable unit. Boris is not unbreakable. And you can see here, on Archaon's bar, there's this little green thing that shows he's regenerating. Boris, no such thing. So we know that Boris is not regenerating. He does not have unbreakable. And so probably the best thing we can do, but you can see here, so melee attack 85, and he's got magical attacks and sundering attacks, and he's got a melee defense of 79. Archaon's got 80 health, 80 melee attack and 65 melee defense. So Archaon's going to have a pretty good chance to hit him. 80 melee attack against 79 melee defense. Boris Ursus has got 85 melee attack versus Archaon's 65 melee defense. So Boris would have a very good chance of hitting Archaon in a melee. So even though Archaon's a few levels higher than him and regenerating, it's just damage we don't need to be taking when I can just sit back here and throw spells at him. And because we're regenerating, any arrows that they shoot at us, or like the 1 unit of Streltsy they've got, any ammo that they expend on us, we're just going to heal up with Archaon, and they're just going to be wasting their ammunition. So this has worked perfectly. Okay, we've got a bit of health off Boris, but most importantly, we've gotten Boris's attention. Now, the rest of his army is going to follow along, because he's just decided that he's going in for a blind rush. Now, this is a cheesy tactic, for sure. This is not an honourable way of engaging your foe in combat. And to those people that would usually point that out, I say, we're playing Chaos, we don't need to be honourable. And also, we're playing on the very hardest mode of this game, and so, like, we do whatever we have to get by. So in this case, that's the thing as well. Once you've learned how to play this game and, like, game the system and, like, tip everything in your favor and just have these, like, really easy wins, then you can just start experimenting with it to the point that it's fun. Only use these tactics as much as you need to. That's what I do. I don't always play games like this. This is just... Well, I mean, this is because I'm on the internet. F up, I have to start the whole thing again, and I don't want to do that. And I'm hoping that one day there might be enough interest that I'll do some streaming. And so when I'm doing it live, I'm definitely going to be playing on the safe side, because I don't want to screw things up. And with that being said, I will screw things up anyway. You've already seen me screw up half a dozen things in this campaign. But part of this game is knowing, once you've screwed up, how to fix it. Because you absolutely will screw up. I don't think I've ever seen anyone have a perfect playthrough of Total War Warhammer 3 campaigns. Oh man, he's going down like a ton of bricks. So as you can see, luring him in early like that, already chipping off some of his health with the spells, that was just invaluable, right? So that's one of their 3 most dangerous units on the field already dead. For like literally no cost to us whatsoever. Maybe like I've 20 or 30 HP off one of our characters. Big whoop. Okay, that's going to be a really good opportunity there. So when your enemy army is moving around terrain features like this, it's a really good opportunity to start chucking spells, because it makes them harder to dodge. Yeah, boy. There you go, victory's already in our grasp, according to the game. And we just, like, deleted a unit of Kossar Spears, so there you can see, yep, that thing went live, so they just turned it unbreakable, right at the point where they were about to flee. They went, nah, stuff you, we're coming back for round 2. But that will wear off, it only lasts, like, I don't know, 30 seconds or something. I don't know how long it lasts. Let's have a look. By our blood, that's what it's called. Lasts for 25 seconds, makes them unbreakable, and you can see there, if I click on that maybe it'll pin it, no. If you see there, the next to unbreakable, it's got that like greyish silvery round icon. That was the thing I was talking about. That's the symbol that shows that something's unbreakable. Alright, let's try and ping off that as well. Yeah, So I didn't actually end up finishing explaining. Large units, things on bears and horses and stuff like that, monsters, anything that's a large unit, suffers a melee penalty when they're fighting in a forest. I think I've mentioned that before, I'm sure, but that's specifically why I wanted to fight in the forest here. Now, yes, we've got large units as well, but we've also got a bunch of anti-large melee units that are not impeded by the forest. So, yes, bringing them into the forest impedes a few of our units, but it impedes more of their units worse, because we've got stuff in this that we can win the game with, even if they're... Like, we can win the game with the infantry here. They could not win the game with their infantry here. They needed those bear units to do a shitload of damage, and they just haven't. And we're just going to try and make sure of that. So the other good thing is, because of the way that they will blob up here, you can see that like their range units like standing on top of each other, and because we've given them a smaller surface area to attack, and so they can't use their shooting as effectively. And when they do big blobs, we can drop spells on them. And the trees will also block a lot of the incoming shots from them, and they'll also do stuff like piss around and trying to find a way through here and send some of the units off to explore that option, even though there absolutely is not a way that they could get in there. That looks like a pretty good spot for a... Oh no, that might blow back on our lines now. Damn, missed my opportunity. Okay, well I really don't care about the Swords of Chaos anymore, so they can eat one of those. Now, where are you? I want Melkioth's Mystifying Miasma, and I want to start throwing that at... Zarg. Yep, those guys. Cool. So yeah, the Swords of Chaos are going to get dismissed very soon anyway and put back into the recruitment pool for the Regiments of Renown, because we've got other knight units that we can replace them with now. So they've filled their purpose. They've filled their purpose for now, and they can return to the Regiment of Renown pool, and in 10 turns we'll be able to recruit them fresh for a new army to use them in an emergency. So they'll basically be relegated back to emergency unit status now. But I think they are very, very beneficial to recruit in the early parts of the game, because partly they're a little bit more disposable. As you've seen, it takes a lot to turn something like Marauders into Knights, and so you want to be pretty careful with your Knights, and you want to be pretty careful with units that are gaining enough XP. They can soon turn into the thing that you want them to, and you just don't need to worry about that with the Swords of Chaos. If you need to throw them away, you can. Well, not throw them away, but sacrifice. If you need to sacrifice them for the greater good, then they're a pretty good unit to do so with. Drop one of them in there. One of them in there. So the Zargard, as you can see, I'm not even really using a whole lot of the army, and that's because I don't want them running out into the forest and getting shot. That's why they've kept these units back here. They're hoping that when their melee units flee, our units will chase out of the cover of the forest, and they can inflict a whole bunch of damage that way. And so we're just simply not going to do that. We're not going to play by their rules, sod them. And when we do come out of the forest, we're going to come out of the forest with stuff like Archaon and the Heroes, and just billick into their units hell fast. Or we're going to flood them en masse. We'll see how it goes. That Tsar unit's about to break, so they can go in there. Where's Ograx? He's in there. Cool, let's go. Where's old mate here? Shit, Melkioth's on them. So yeah, Knights of Chaos probably going to end up eating it this game, but that is a-okay with me. These Knights are just going to stay completely out of this for now. Actually, you know what I'll do? I'll swap them in there like that. I'll pull the Swords of Chaos out, because if I don't have to get them killed, then I won't. And I'll send the Nurgle Knights out, because they could use a little bit more XP to get them onto being Rot Knights, and they can get that XP very safely by chasing units down that are already broken and fleeing. Cool, so we rendered those Bear Knights of theirs just completely irrelevant. By goading them in early, fighting them in the trees where they didn't have the ability to maneuver around and split us up, and they were also suffering those combat penalties, and yeah, just absolutely flogging them dead with like all of our heroes and stuff at once. And that's usually the best way to deal with a super dangerous unit. You either ignore it and kite it around, like you saw me do in that sort of first ambush battle with Tamokhan, the way that the Marauder Horsemen wasted like half of the game, half of their army. We wasted like half of the game just chasing around one unit of our Marauder Horsemen, and it was beautiful. in this instance, we lured their dangerous units in early and just flogged them before the rest of the army could even show up and do anything about it. Now, that's obviously, as I said, it's not an honourable way of playing the game. You're obviously exploiting the AI's stupidity in running a lord over all by himself. Well, running over a lord all by himself that can't handle it. Running something like Scarbrand over all by himself. Like, yeah, great, no worries, have fun. But yeah, something like Boris Ursus, he's tough, but he does still need an army. He's not a one-man army, is Boris. And generally you'll find that's the case with most melee-based lords. Most, not all. Scarbrand, not a spellcaster, absolutely a one-man army. I would say probably one of the best one-man armies in the game. But most of the one-man armies that you'll find, or as our dearly departed Legend of Total War used to call them Doomstacks, I'm going to miss that guy. I hadn't watched a lot of his content lately because he'd gone off doing Warhammer stuff, and the historical stuff doesn't interest me as much. Yeah, damn, I'm going to miss that guy. And his wackiness. Because, I thought I was pretty good at, being cheap in this game. Holy crap, man. That dude had a black belt in being a cheap ass in this game. And, it's just like that sometimes. You can play a game on a hard mode. Sometimes you've just got to game the system. I was playing a Orcs and Goblins campaign the other night, actually, for myself, because I'm determined to like the Orcs and Goblins. At one point, they were, almost my favourite race. When Grom the Paunch first came out, I think he's a really cool character, and I love him. And since then, they've given them a bunch of reworks, and they've made everything worse. And I'm sad about it. So I've gone back into Greenskins to try and actually have fun with them, and I've actually turned that one all the way down to normal for myself, because Greenskins just aren't fun on Legendary difficulty. Your units are absolute shite, and they can't even hold their own against, this equal unit on the opposite side. My unit of Goblins will get absolutely trounced by their unit of Goblins every single time, and it sucks. And I just wasn't enjoying myself, so I was like, you know what, screw it. I logged out, and I deleted that campaign because it was on Legendary, and you can't change the campaign difficulty in... You can't change the campaign difficulty mid-campaign if you're set on Legendary. You can change it on the other difficulties. If you're set to very hard, you can slide it up and down all you like. But you can't, once you're set to Legendary, at the start of a campaign, you can't renege on that. You're stuck with it. It's if I go here and show you. By the way, we kicked Boris's ass. If I go here and show you, I can't change that. It's, yep. Can't be done. Whereas if that was on hard, if it was on very hard, I could slide it all the way down to easy, then all back up to very hard or whatever. But yeah, so my point was though that sometimes if you're going to play on the hardest modes, you've got to be a bit of a cheap ass in this game sometimes, because it's the game is very much tipped against you. And if you choose to play on that mode, as I do, then you've got to be prepared to deal with that. And if you try and fight fair against when when there's literally a slider for how much you want the AI to cheat, and you've turned it all the way up to maximum, yeah, if you fight fair against that, you're not going to win. It's just, yep, that's how the game works. Now, Manticore mounts I don't really mind so much, because they don't do the frenzied running around doing whatever the hell I feel like thing. They just are a mount for a character. So Ograx can now have a flying mount if we so choose. And because our other two characters are permanently grounded, obviously Kolek can't fly and can't get a mount, and Archaon can't get a flying mount, which is bullshit, because he totally does have a flying mount in the lore. He's got that crazy three-headed Chaos Dragon thing. Whose name I can't remember, but it looks really badass. They should put that in the game. But then again, as you've seen, Archaon's pretty well powerful enough. I can't imagine that. And to be honest, if you put him on a flying dragon, I really think I would probably keep him on foot or on his horse anyway, because things on flying dragons are easy to shoot at, and Archaon doesn't like being shot. Do I want the replenishment rate, or do I want the money? I want the money and the magic items, and I want the souls and the movement range. Cool, so that's pretty much done for the blue tree now. That's basically all I'll do. Later on in the game, if I've got some extra talent points left over, I'll probably pad that out, maybe. Or I might get that. Probably not. There's enough characters that I can stack in Archaon's army to buff his replenishment rate, through the roof. So stuff like this, so many Chaos characters have got stuff like that. So I probably won't do Fatted Gallipot for him. Actually, I'll probably just do the rest of the... I'll probably do the rest of that one at some point. But what we'll do now is we'll go down his personal combat line, and we'll start making him even tougher than he already is. So at the moment, he's really good at killing, but he's not so good at, tanking. Once we've buffed out his personal combat line and got some of his magic items and stuff from his quests, he will be very, very capable of like tanking a whole army as well. Alright, let me just go through and have a look at these guys real quick. I've got plenty of souls, so I actually do think I'm going to do some of this. So let's go devote to Nurgle. Yep, that's good. So he didn't pop out that time. As I've said, sometimes I pop out, sometimes I don't. It's a bit weird. So he's going to go to Nurgle. He's going to go to Nurgle. Probably sensing a bit of a pattern here. Cool. And what's he? He's a sorcerer of death, and he's a sorcerer of shadows. Now I'm going to leave. I'm not going to dedicate them yet. Partly because I don't know what I want them to. Partly because I don't know what I want to dedicate them to yet. But mostly because I want them to actually just keep leveling up and getting more access to more spells. And obviously, if I devote them, that's going to level them down a little bit. So I will wait on that because I'm not desperate for Archaon. I'm not desperate for Kolek's army. Because he is best when he's got like a monster army of like Dragon Ogres and Dragon Ogre Shoggoths, which can't be dedicated. Having undivided heroes in Kolek's army is actually not a terrible idea because it keeps his undivided authority nice and high. Again, he's got trash Khorne authority and trash Tzeentch authority, but I don't care because there's neither of those gods' armies units in that army, nor will there ever be. At the end of the day, this army will be Dragon Ogres, Dragon Ogre Shoggoths, and Bile Trolls. And whatever heroes I feel like throwing at him. So we've got plenty of money, we've got plenty of income, well, not plenty of income, but we've got enough income, we're not in the negatives. Does the challenge stone anything updated? Yep, 6 grand for growth, no, maybe not so much, 7 turns until that's updated, I'm not really worried about that either. Let's go Carrick Flag, how are you looking? 2 turns, alright, I'm going to save the money then, because there's nothing through here that I care to upgrade. I don't really need the... no, I don't really need the growth there anymore because we've got that Gift of Nurgle turned on. That's not going to do anything for me there. That's not going to do anything for me there. Alright, so yeah, I'm not actually going to spend any of that money this turn. I'm just going to spin on. There was one thing I wanted to check, and that was... I should have done this at the start of the turn, but that's okay. I don't think he's going to go for it now anyway, but we'll wait and see. No, it's quickly turned on them. These guys, challenge is gone. Alright, if I join your war against the Ice Court, would you vassalize? No, you won't. Tough customer. That's alright, we'll get him. Or at the very least, we'll get Karak dumb out of him, and at least we've got him as a defensive ally for now. It might take another 20 turns for him to come around to the idea of vassalization, but I'm confident that we'll get him at some point in the campaign. I would have liked to have just swept in there and grabbed him, but whatever. Now, the fact that Arbal's kicked the crap out of the Ice Court that hard, hopefully that means that either Festus or Azazel will have survived. But I did see... Oh, wait, no, that was the Ice Court. Yeah, no, okay, no. So, because he's kicked the crap out of the Ice Court so hard, hopefully, maybe, we might be lucky enough and get Azazel. Okay, so Azazel's still alive. That's Azazel there. So he's good. He's still up and running. Liking that. Can't see about over here. No, I don't want that. I'll probably try. I'll vassalize Throt the Unclean, given half a chance. I definitely want to kill him on Archaon in combat at some point as well, if at all possible, because his legendary defeat trait gives extra health. So I will definitely try and kill him if at all possible. At some point. But we do have a trade agreement with him, so if I want to do it without taking any diplomatic penalties, I'll have to cancel the trade agreement at some point, and then wait 10 turns for... Oh, yeah, here we go. I don't care about this territory, they can have it. Or we can deal with Boris and then turn around and come get him again. I might even just try and sell them one of the other minor settlements here and just peace out. Because I don't want to be... Like, I will not be letting that stand long term, but right now, I don't have the scope to be fighting a two-front war that is that widely dispersed. Okay, so these are the, dilemmas that you get, and you can either choose a thing that does a thing that gives your, like, one of your vassals a bonus, or you can do a thing that gives your faction a bonus. However, I do not want the casualty replenishment rate minus 3% right now. That would not be ideal, so I'm going to take the other one. Oh, Harry the Hammer's back. Good. And here you go. So if a hero gets wounded, they will respawn at the closest friendly city to the point that they were originally wounded. Just so that you know. Now, maybe I can actually use my vassals for something useful here. This will be good. Let's go up here, and I want the ogres, and I want to go defend target, and I want to get them to defend that thing. Cool. I'll just see if these idiots will take a peace treaty. No, they won't. Sometimes they run in and take a city, and then they're like, yeah, okay, we're done. Let me just have a look at Arbol. Just seeing if this changes anything at all. No, okay. What else could I trade him? Fort Dwarslav. What's he got to say about that? No, but it's getting him closer, though. Getting him closer. I really should have taken it on the end of that that first turn. But then again, if I'd done that, we might have gotten a face full of Boris Ursus in a much less favourable position. And then we might have lost, and that would have been bad. And I really don't want... Oh, no. No, you don't. No. Okay, so that blue arrow, that shows that they're going to try and take that settlement. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. You dickheads are not having that. That's mine. Alright, come over here. Harry the Hammer won't be able to rejoin his army. In fact, he won't be able to rejoin any army this turn, because when you embed a hero into a Lord's army, it costs a bit of the Lord's movement range. So if your hero starts the turn right next to the Lord's army and you pop him in, it's only going to take like 1% of the Lord's movement range. If you run a hero across like their entire movement range and then embed them, that will take off a crap load of your Lord's movement range. So what I'll do is I'll just have Harry the Hammer like lurk behind them for the end of this turn, and then he can pick him up. He can jump into an army next turn. Yep, that should be fine. No, you come back over here and defend this, please. You've already given him that order. Okay, that's good. It just hasn't clicked over yet. I don't think he'd be able to take the city by himself. That's okay. Just quickly put these in. That's it. Cool. Done. Sweet. Path to Glory. That'll be the sorcerers. Don't care about them at the moment. Chimera Plateau. Nope. Nope. Blood Marshes. Nope. Alright, spin them. What do you want? No, I don't want military access with you. Go die. No, you're next on my list. Yeah. He's either going to get killed or vassalized, one of the two, because he's got territory that I want. He'll have a bunch of Chaos Fortresses up there. Okay, that's good. They got sacked again, so that'll be making Arbol weaker, and the weaker he is, and the more afraid he is of his current situation, the more likely he is to go positively disposed towards being vassalized. So hopefully that will have nudged it a little bit in our favour, although it was only a very minor. Most efficiently with your army. Oh, good. They actually took the order and did what I said. I was half afraid that they were going to go and two-stack that city and take it anyway. That would have been a pain in the bum, because I want this. If nothing else, trading this back to Arbol would guarantee Federation. Oh my god, poor Harry the Hammer. Jesus Christ. The guy can't stay alive for more than like a turn before something comes along and wounds him. That's something that you will not have as much problem with on the easier modes. On Legendary, the bloody enemy heroes, especially Legendary ones like the Golden Knight, they're like friggin' like mega assassins. They just ping your heroes off so hard. They especially love going for Legendary heroes. Like once the Legendary hero gets like a certain level, like once a Legendary hero is level 50, like it's pretty rare that they'll get pinged even on the hardest of difficulties. But at this level, Legendary heroes, hell yeah. They'll have those, thank you very much. Alright, can I just roll that? Not without losing the Hellstriders. That's annoying. Although, do I really even want those anymore? What's the Slaanesh authority on this army looking like? 1. What else can I recruit here? And I've got to get Harry the Hammer back in. It seems like a bit of a waste just to get them killed because I'm being lazy. Yeah, alright. I'll fight this one, and then I'll probably call this video here, because that will be out like the other side of an hour and a half, which is probably long enough for some people. Or, I don't know, let me know what you think. Like, if you want more long-form videos, I'm happy to do them. Like, I'll play, you know, I'll do a video for 3 or 4 hours if you guys will sit there and watch it. No worries. Oh, pardon the cracking of all my joints, if that came through the speakers. My wife reckons I sound like a transformer when I get out of bed in the morning. I have very clicky bones and very clicky joints. It's my mutant power, sounding like I'm made out of Lego. Alright, so this is going to be an absolute cheese sandwich. I'm just going to absolutely mob them with the heroes and characters and do very little of anything else. Cool, gate's down. Now, these guys will definitely get shot a little bit coming in, but that's okay. I reckon they can probably handle it. How much magic we got? 89. Plus, what, 30 something? Yeah, plenty. Alright, let's get that hero dead. No, that guy's on foot, is he? Oh, screw it. He can just go back to the lines by the time he gets here. It'll be too late for him to be of any use. Say hello, Kolek. Zap. Love that ability. Alright, I'm just going to tag him with a Spirit Leech so that he actually dies. Just because I'm petty and I like to make sure the heroes actually die. You don't actually need to do that, but I'm going to. Really? Would Spirit Leech not kill him? That's annoying. Okay, well maybe he will get away then. Get a bit of that happening. Psych. God, that was petty. Yeah, okay, so big weakness for Kolek, he does not like being shot at. As you can see there. That's okay, because Ograx has got 2 of his heals left. And we've got 2 healers in Kolek's army now. We just need to level them up until they actually get the ability that gives them the heal. But they're already dedicated, so we're already a good few steps along the way. Now, the downside of using your army like this is that your other units don't really get any experience. Or very, very minimal experience. Oh, Jesus. That's a lot of troops. Alright. Alright, gotta get Kolek out of here. At least until Ograx has another heal ready to go. Which will be pretty soon. I'll get these 3 characters to go and jump that Lord. Get Ograx out of here so he can pop his handsome little face outside the gate. I thought being on the Rot Knights. I thought being on the Rot Knight Mount gave you regeneration. Apparently not. Huh. Okay, my bad. I had the wrong end of that one. Give Kolek a heal. Dispatch the knights to run down those fleeing Kislevites. Let's get the Lord dead. You shouldn't need a spell to finish him off, I don't think. Searing Doom. Cool, Ogrex can get back in there. Okay, so this is annoying. So even though the unit's outside the field, outside the walls rather, because they've got one unit, one individual model left inside, Kolek wants to run inside to fight them. So you got to watch out for stuff like that, because if I hadn't noticed that, that could have very easily led to Kolek running through the city and getting like shot to death by towers and stuff, and I wouldn't have had any idea. So I don't even know where the rest of that unit is. So I click there, right? Okay, no, it's okay. It's good now. It's good now. Cool. First time I clicked it, he like started going that way. Put him down with a spell. Just won't have to chase him. Cool, there goes the enemy lord. So that'll inflict a nice big leadership penalty on them. Cool, those knights are usefully engaged. Ograx is going to have another heal ready in about 12 seconds. So I want to gather him with Kolek and Grog to drop that. So they both pick up a heal from it. Do you have another lightning bolt thing ready to go? Yes, you do. Goody. Goody gumdrops. Alright. Ograx has got another heal ready to go. Pop that. There we go. So yeah, just about any other faction would have given up and gone home by now. But yeah, Kislev are tough and difficult to discourage. Not quite dwarf tough, but getting close. Certainly a lot closer than any other regular human faction gets, for sure. Like Cathayan peasants, man, they'll run as soon as you look at them. Same with the majority of the Empire's melee infantry roster. Pretty easy to discourage them from a battlefield. But yeah, buddy, dwarves and Kislev, like, you kill their lord, and they're like, yeah, that's unfortunate, but now we're just more determined to kill you for revenge. You're like, oh, okay. Something like Skaven, kill their lord, army gone, disappear. They will run like hell. Alright, I do not want these guys really taking any more damage, so they're getting out of there. And you three, my A-team, are going to come back and deal with the rest of them. And then, while all that's going on, we're going to get the monster auxiliaries to come in here and switch things up a bit. Alright, fast mode, let's go. I'm getting tired of this battle. Yeah, so sieges can be a bit tedious, but they are worth... They can be a bit tedious because they're, like, largely the same. Alright, so I could besiege Kislev in a dozen cities and have this battle pretty much play out exactly the same way all dozen times. So there is no harm and no shame in wanting to skip your siege battles. And you can do that by altering the difficulty of your campaign, because you can do that even on legendary mode. And just auto-rolling it. If you really can't, if you just really don't have the motivation to face your 17th identical siege for the night, you know, that's fine. More power to you. I generally don't do that because I just don't like, because even if you turn, even on legendary, if you turn it down to very easy battle, turn it down to, like, you know, very easy battle mode and take all the AI stats and stuff off, you are still never going to get an auto result that's as good as what you can do as a player, right? Because the AI just doesn't think to play the game that way, right? So even we might have gotten the decisive victory on the auto roll, but we wouldn't have come out with 0 losses on all 3 of our armies, right? They still would have gotten dozens or hundreds of troops killed. So yeah, if you've got the patience and you've got the time and you've confident just sort of fast forwarding through siege battles and essentially just babysitting them like you saw me just do, then it's worth it. But if you can't do that, or if you don't want to do that, then that's absolutely fine. You play the game how it is fun for you. Just be aware that if you do auto roll them, even on the easiest settings, beg your pardon, you will still take far more damage than if you did it manually. And that's just, yeah, that's how the game works, unfortunately. I'm just going to occupy that because I don't know that I'll have the... I would have the movement range double back on it, but oh well. That sucks. No, it doesn't really matter. It's fine. Okay, so that's a bug. That's a Kislev building. I absolutely should not be able to have that. But on the bright side, hey, I'm generating Orthodoxy support. That's so stupid. Yeah, okay, so that's a bug. That definitely shouldn't happen. That is for some reason, one of the Kislev buildings that was in there when I took it has remained there. Which, yeah, is not working as intended. Okay, so poor old Harry the Hammer's been wounded again. Yeah, good on you, mate. I was trying to think if there's anything I can replace some of these units that I want with, but yeah, there's nothing really that fantastic there yet, so that's okay. We'll replace it when we've got the time to replace it, or when we've got the opportunity to replace it, I should say. I'll do all the level ups next video or whatever. Yeah, cool. So turn 32 now. We've got Archaon to mid-20s. That's pretty good. As I said, that rule of thumb, if you kind of keep your lords, if you try and keep your lords level within sort of striking distance of the turn count, then you're pretty good. But the distance will start to widen the longer on you go. So for the first like sort of 10 turns, you can keep up level for turn pretty well. By the time you get to like turn 40, it's pretty hard to have kept your lord to level 40 by turn 40, for example. And obviously the level cap's 50, so that becomes completely irrelevant after turn 50. Or after level 50, I should say. Cool, so we'll leave it there. What we will do in the next video is we will finish wiping out Boris Ursus, and then I will try and hotfoot my way over here and pick up Azazel, and hopefully... Yep, Nurgle Corruption's still nice and high, so Festus is still alive over there at this point, I think. So we should be able to get over there pretty quick. So hopefully we'll be able to use our vassals, Kolek and Grog, to mostly take all the territory. We'll need to run Archaon up here and just basically like sort of smash through all their armies, and then have these guys pick up the pieces while Archaon comes back over here and starts to deal with getting our other 2 Chaos Lords. So I'll probably keep doing another couple of episodes for this one. I'll probably go to at least like turn 50 or so. Just to show you what that looks like, and then yeah, either keep going with that or start something else based on what you guys want to see, what would be useful to you. So thank you for your time as always. I greatly appreciate you watching. If you want to show your support or to support the channel in any way, it would be greatly appreciated. But regardless, I really appreciate you taking the time to watch these videos. I hope they're useful to you. I hope you're learning stuff. I hope you're enjoying yourself, and please feel free to leave any feedback or comments below. Thanks very much, everyone. Take care, and I will see you next time.